Okay, so it's 5:01, and as you can see behind me, 22 October 2019. Should see on here the Moodle page. This is LDR 340 for the fall session, what, 2? Anyway, just starting this week, so welcome aboard, everybody. Since I don't have anybody dialed in, I'm going to do this understanding that some of you may be watching this after I've posted it to YouTube. Again, the purpose of these Zoom sessions is to expand on any information, give you an opportunity to talk to your instructor, me, about anything that is of concern or that you need some assistance on. Or share with me. Again, the beauty of this course is at the end, I'm going to get more out of it than you from you than you're going to get out of it from me, because we're going to learn together. This is case studies in leadership, and so what's going to happen here is you are going to take information that you've already learned in LDR 300, your basic leadership course you should already have taken. I'm going to hold up the text, DAF text, right? Edition 7. And hopefully you all held on to this or held on to your slides and notes, because you're going to draw upon it heavily. What you got in the basic leadership experience was a broad brush of leadership concepts, principles, models, theories, and the like. And what you got in there were those concepts and kind of the how-tos on some of them, and some of the things to look out for, some of the best practices, some of the mistakes that people have made, okay? And what you're going to do here is you're going to take those principles, models, theories, concepts that you learned in LDR 300, and you're going to apply them into this class. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second on how you'll do it. But as you can see from my screen on the Zoom sessions, again, this is completely optional, no requirement to enter the session unless you have some questions or want some information. What I will do, though, is I'm going to show some information. Hopefully that'll clear up any other concerns or any concerns that you may have. One of the concerns I have real fast, and so that I want to check here real fast, is the acceptance of the syllabus. Okay, I wanted everybody to try to get in here by 2100 or 9 o'clock tonight. It looks like a number of you have, but there's still a few that have not. So I'm going to go ahead and address those 3 that have, while I'm also helping the rest of you that have not try to take advantage of it, try to knock this out. This is a University of Mount Olive requirement, and it's designed to make sure that those who still need to attend or desire to attend are reflected accurately in the first week. Otherwise, things get a little bit sloppy. Okay, so let's get back to our course. I'm going to show you a slide, and that is going to kind of encapsulate, I think, a lot of the information that we need to talk about real fast. Okay, so the case study handbook, I'm putting my cursor over this left side lime green looking book, okay? Then this is, for all intents and purposes, your text for this course specific. You're going to find this really isn't much of a text. It is a handbook. It's not that hard. It's very easy to go through. And all we're going to do in there is find out some techniques on how to properly conduct an analysis of case studies. You're going to find the case studies come in three three forms or varieties. Problem diagnosis, a decision, or an evaluation. Okay, and they come in different order in the text, I think. We do decision, evaluation, and then problem diagnosis. Anyway, depending on the case study you have, you're going to use one of those three systems, if you will, to conduct a analysis. And your guidebook, your handbook here, will show you how to conduct that analysis and then how to communicate, how to write and to speak to a case. Now, this course could use case studies, and there's been a few of us who have in the past. I think you probably all have been familiar with some of them. The problem with case studies is they get dated real quick and they're very limited in scope. It becomes more of an exercise of what you can find out within the case study and really the purpose or thrust of this course. And the purpose and thrust of this course, as I bring up another slide, if you will, is that as I put in the weekly announcement, or the welcome announcement, an in-class application of leadership concepts that are studied using the case method approach. You'll receive a contemporary practical overview of systematic process. You'll apply analytical thought, okay? And again, that's what you're going to get from your handbook. But this issue of various characteristics of leadership and conduct a more structured study of different skills, traits, values, and behaviors is going to be really a lot on your shoulders. Here's why. Instead of using case studies, we're going to do one better. Go back to our slide here. What we're going to do as I move my cursor over is you're going to find your case studies in the Wall Street Journal, which is where I'm going to find them. So every week, you're going to pull an article out of the Wall Street Journal. You're going to conduct an analysis of that article using the techniques that you've learned in the case study handbook. And you're going to post that in two places, as many of you noticed. You're going to post it, A, in the discussion forum, so we can talk about it with you, okay, your fellow students and I. And you're also going to post it in the assignment section for that week on Moodle. And that way I can actually grade your work. So yes, you're going to do one article, you're going to do one analysis, you're going to post it in two places, okay? Then every week, I'm going to assign you an article that I've picked out, and everybody's going to work that way. And you're going to work it by yourselves, and you're going to post it up to Moodle usually at the end of the week. And we're going to do that for essentially 6 of the 8 weeks. The only weeks that you are going to get a break in your articles is week 4 and week 8. So congratulations. Except don't jump up and down too loud for joy, because week 4 and week 8, instead of the articles, you're going to have a midterm and a final exam. So a little bit of gift that keeps on giving. Don't worry, these exams aren't that bad, and if you're doing the work, and if you're reading the case study handbook, I mean read it to the degree that you're actually studying it, not just plowing through it to plow through it, and that you're attentive in the discussions, and that you've taken this, at the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to find a graphic of Introduction to Case Analysis. This is that online case study tutorial that I mentioned in the welcome board announcement that you need to get from Harvard Business Publishing. Really simple tutorial. It's easy to get through. Maybe takes, oh, I don't know, 90 minutes at most. You've got plenty of time to do it. You can knock it out tonight. You can knock it out over the next few weeks. You can wait till the last minute. Quite frankly, it's up to you. But understand on the final, you're going to have some questions from it. And this is an additional tool to help you out. Now, if you missed that portion, it's not too late. Okay, again, go back to my welcome announcement, which you'll find in the announcements section of Moodle. And right below Wall Street Journal and the case study handbook, you'll see, and I'm highlighting here with my cursor, the online tutorial, case analysis coach. You're purchasing that from Harvard Business Publishing. If you click on that link, it'll take you to the package. You will find on that site that it says actually this William Elliott textbook is optional. That doesn't mean that the textbook is optional for the class. What it means is it's optional as you buy into this package off of Harvard Business Publishing. So if you already have the textbook, then just buy the case analysis coach. Don't buy 2 textbooks, okay? All right. Now, most of you, or a lot of you, didn't send me any type of emails. A couple of you did. So I'm assuming everybody's tracking. And we've got a number of people in this course, so it's going to be interesting to see. It's certainly going to keep me on my toes. All right. So with that, let me get back here to week 1 assignment. All right, so here's the week 1 assignment instructions. You're going to see this format a lot. This is how I basically run the course, and this is the information that I'll give you each week. It should be no surprise. Follows exactly what's in the syllabus and what's on Moodle. If you go into Moodle, you'll note that I indicate in there, ensure you read the assignment instructions for this week in the announcement section. So up top on your Moodle page, you'll see announcements. I'm navigating to it right now on my screen. Clicking on announcements, you'll see where I've sent it out, week 1 assignment instructions. Okay? Again, should be no surprise, but make sure you look at that and read it carefully. Yes, some information is in the same place and it's just a date or a chapter change, but there's also some very good information. That information is also going to show up every week on your Moodle page as it relates to assignments. So again, for this week, as many of you have already found, acceptance of the syllabus, please by 2100 tonight. If I don't see it by 2100 tonight, I'm going to have to hunt you down, so to speak, on email, because I need everybody to acknowledge it or let me know what's going on. Some of you have already gotten in your article. Good job. It's first week, so it's going to be a little rough. I understand, and I know there's some questions on it. But again, you're going to identify the article, and you're going to summarize it very briefly. Okay, I will have read the article, and so make sure you don't spend all of your time regurgitating the article. Okay, what we really want to do is get into the meat. The meat is here in paragraph 2. Okay, and that meat, after you posted the brief summary, is you should tell me who is the protagonist, and is this a problem, decision, or evaluation? Who is the protagonist? The protagonist is the main character in the article. It's the one that they're talking about. Okay? The protagonist is the main character. It's the individual that the whole episode revolves around, whether it's a TV show, a movie, feature-length film, or in this case, your article. In the absence of a protagonist, okay, there's some articles that won't have an individual identified by name. What I want you to do then is assume the role of the CEO or president of that organization that is the subject of your article. Here's what we're avoiding. We're avoiding you writing an article that says they, the company, or the obscure, the leadership. Okay, we want to personalize it. Get it down to one person. And then treat this as an opportunity that you are, an outside consultant coming in, hired by the protagonist to help him or her out from a leadership perspective with whatever problem, decision, or evaluation that needs to be made. Since these are articles, most of what you're going to read are problems. Why else would there be an article? There's some articles that will come out and say, hey, what a great job company X or organization Y is doing. But for the most part, it's really a problem. That's why the article is written. Problem decision evaluation comes out in later chapters here of your text. And again, if you take the online tutorial, you'll get an early introduction to it. But for right now, don't get wrapped around the axle on this piece, because the later chapters of problem decision evaluation will really start to come out and you start to learn the techniques, okay? And that's when it becomes really important. The second aspect, what you believe to be the leadership challenges or challenge. Okay, I'm a 3x5 guy. I like to see you come up with 3 to 5 challenges, 3 to 5 reasons, 3 to 5 pieces of evidence, if you will. You're going to find in my course that we're going to do here that I tend to say something quite often, and I do it for emphasis. If you go back to the week instructions, and I've got it here on my screen, you're going to see me highlighting a sentence here in blue, and that is, throughout this course, remember, the fundamental relationship, the one that matters the most, is between your statement of a conclusion and the evidence you use to support it. And so what you're going to find here in this course is that your position statement, which is what this is, your thesis, what you're going to identify up front in any written product is your argument. You're going to tell us up front what you're arguing. So what I believe to be the leadership challenge in this article is that the president or CEO is or is not an effective leader. Okay, take a stand. Give me a ruling. Give me your call on this. He's not an effective leader because 1, 2, and 3 reasons. Okay. If you can't come up with 3 to 5, that's okay. At least come up with 1. Now, where are we getting these leadership challenges? Well, you learned them. Okay, again, I'm holding up the DAF text. Okay, within the DAF text, just a broad review of the table of contents shows you. Okay, Chapter 1, what does it mean to be a leader? Reality, mastering in the art. Chapter 2, traits, behaviors, relationships. Remember, we learned contingency approach to leadership, right? Different styles, using the right style for the effect for that particular situation instead of the great man theory, having just one style. All right, Chapter 3, that's the contingency approach. Hershey and Blanchard, situational theory. Fiedler's contingency model. Path goal theory. The Vroom-Yago contingency model. Okay, remember all these? Now, Chapter 4, the leader is an individual. Chapter 5, leadership, mind, and emotion. Okay, when we start getting into emotional intelligence. Chapter 6, courage, moral leadership. Chapter 7, followership, having to learn to be a follower. Chapter 8, motivation and empowerment. Remember, you had needs-based theory. You also had other motivational theories to include expectancy theory and the reinforcement perspective. Chapter 9, leadership communication, critical communication is a leadership challenge. Leading teams is a leadership challenge. Leadership power and influence, properly using power, whether that's transformational leadership or transactional. Chapter 13, creating vision, strategic decision, direction, I should say. Remember, that's the realm of the leader, vision. And Chapter 14, shaping culture and values. Okay, organizational culture is a leadership challenge. Chapter 15, leading change. Okay, again, the realm of the leader. So your text gave you in your LDR 300 class, you got exposed to a broad range of leadership concepts, methods, theories, models, and the like. That's what you spent all those weeks doing. In each chapter, you did a series of self-insight exercises, right? Probably 3 to 4 per chapter. Okay, things that you would learn about yourself. And the idea is learning these things so you understand who you are and now can apply these as part of your leadership future, if you will. Okay. A critical analysis of the challenge. Well, tell me something about it. Don't just say he's got a communication problem. Don't just tell me he's got a problem leading his team. Okay, Jay Gruden, former head coach of my favorite NFL team, I know it's a little tough this year, Washington Redskins. Jay Gruden had a leadership challenge, okay, leading his football team to a winning season. And he ultimately just got fired. So talk a little bit about the dynamics. If you have to go outside of your article to other articles or other informational sources, feel free to do that. Certainly do a basic Google search if you need to. Okay? In the end, you may have to do what you're going to learn in the case studies handbook have to do, which is also make an assumption. Okay? And then in the end, how leadership should handle the challenge. That should say how the protagonist should handle the challenge. Again, I want you to personalize it. So don't just tell me leadership or they. I want to know who they are. So say the CEO should handle this challenge by, and then you got a lot of those techniques right here out of your text. Okay. Again, remember that in all of your coursework that you do at this university or anywhere, that any of the graded assignments, the marked requirements, the papers, the tests, the quizzes, anything you hand in and get a grade on, is being done to determine how well you have mastered the objectives. This is our assessment of you learning the material that is presented in the course. Okay, well, if you don't bring in any thing that you've learned from LDR 300, if you can't remember any of the concepts or models, then I have nothing upon which to grade you. Okay, so in this regard, it's not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. If you haven't kept your LDR 300 text, it'll be a bit of a challenge, but hopefully you kept your notes. And then you remember, think back to the course, think back to those principles or traits or concepts that knocked your socks off. You're sitting in class or you're going online, you're in class or you're doing your reading. You say, man, that's really good stuff. I didn't realize that. Okay, this is what I want you to pull out. Understand that no two people will look at the same article and see the same challenges to be handled the same way. That's why it's called leadership. That's why it's not just an easy checklist. So don't worry about whether or not you pick the right challenge. I'm using my fingers as quotation marks. Or whether or not you picked the correct concept in handling the challenge. We'll talk about that. What I'm grading you on is, again, that fundamental relationship, the one I read to you earlier, your conclusion and the evidence you use to support it. So if you tell me that CEO X is not an effective leader because he is not leading his teams well, and you bring in an aspect of that chapter from LDR 300 to back up your statement or to expand upon it, hey, you got nothing to worry about. You did exactly what's asked, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, this shouldn't be hard. Okay, it is work. I'll grant you that. Okay, but you've already had LDR 300. One of your students highlighted to me that he or she is going to have to go back and get the text. They didn't keep it, and that's your call. That's your fault. That's up to you. I highly recommend that you hold on to that draft text because quite frankly, if you're in a leadership program, a study, this is a text you're going to hold on to for a long time and come referencing back time and again. Okay, these models are good models. These ideas are fine ideas. These concepts that you were given, I believe me, you're gonna see them again. And think of it as a tool bag. You know, you're putting a series of tools in this bag to help you accomplish the task at hand. Okay, if you need to remove a tree branch and all you've got in your toolbox is a hammer, a Phillips screwdriver, and a set of pliers, removing that tree branch is going to be tough. You can get it done with the tools you have, but it's going to be pretty rough. Okay, but boy, if you got a wood saw in there, and you're applying it at the right time, that's golden. If you're trying to apply a wood saw to tightening a flathead screw, yeah, you might get it done, but it's going to be rough. And again, pull out that flathead screwdriver, and you're golden. So kind of look at it the same way here with this course. You've gotten these tools from the DAF text, and now you're going in and you're getting an opportunity to read somebody's experience and then try to apply what you learned in that with your own experience that you've developed over years, okay, which is considerable, and your own common sense and your own judgment, and apply it. One of the great quotes from Confucius talks about how we learn, and we learn by seeing, we learn by hearing, but the most effective way we learn is by doing. And I'm not going to quote it exactly, I'm paraphrasing, because I'm going to mix two of his quotes here. But if the most effective way to learn is by doing or by experience, we're going to find that that can also be very bitter. Okay, you go over and put your finger, and I'm pointing at an outlet over here on the wall in the classroom. You go over to stick a fork in that outlet, you're going to get an experience. It's probably going to be fairly bitter, and you're going to learn. Now, in this regard, if we've got all these examples in Wall Street Journal, wouldn't it be better to learn from that person's bitter experience than your own? And that's what we're doing. We're going to use all your articles that you're bringing in, plus the article that I give. And so in a class of how many, excuse me, I'm looking over here at my class roster. How many folks do we have in this class? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 24, give or take, a couple dozen. Okay, that's 24 articles. And I'm going to ask you to please don't post somebody else's article. Okay, if somebody else has picked the article you're going to use, I'm going to ask that you try to do another one. If you're unable, okay, and all else fails, that's fine. All right, but the real beauty here is let's not all pick the same article, okay? And we'll figure that out as we go along. All right. Once you've posted your article in both places, on the discussion forum, you and your fellow students are going to respond to others. Okay, here's the discussion thread. In one of the instruction sheets I gave you, it talked about us doing the discussion thread as a group. We're not going to do it as a group. There won't be any group leaders. This is all going to be individual. So you as an individual, I want you to respond to at least 2 other articles and comment, reply. Okay, try to get beyond a simple, hey, I agree. I completely agree. What you wrote is awesome. If you're given that encouragement, that's phenomenal. I'm loving it. I certainly want you to be respectful and let you exercise a good amount of decorum like we would in a normal classroom situation. But let's try to interject your own personal analysis and expand. Okay, let's make it meaningful and on point. Okay. All right. In the article that you post to the to the assignment is how I'm going to grade it. Okay, University of Mount Olive requires your work to be uploaded in a format that they can come back in and take a look at and evaluate what you wrote and the grade you received, as well as evaluating what I've graded you on and see what I'm handing out. Okay, handing out. I don't hand out grade. You earn it. But see how I'm doing as far as grading. So this is twofold. One, this is part of the normal occurrence at universities, because this type of activity gets evaluated by a lot of your accreditation boards. You want to go to school that's been accredited because that is reputation. That says that that diploma you have on the wall has worth, has meaning, because it's from a school that's gone through a robust accreditation process. The other is that this is a protection mechanism. Make sure that your professor, your instructor, is giving you the feedback and the evaluation that is realistic based on the level of work. Okay? And that's good. Okay, so don't get too hung up on that. Just make sure you understand that that's why you're doing it twice. And then the instructor's weekly case, I've posted it already. I said I'll do it on Monday and give you 2 articles. I'll probably get it out on Friday, and I'm probably just going to give you 1. Okay, makes it just a little easier with such a large class. But in this regard, your article this week is Evan Spiegel, overhauling his leadership team. So we were talking about this article, who would be the protagonist? I would say probably the guy identified in the headline, Evan Spiegel. Now, if you opt for another one, that's your call. Just make sure that you fully understand what it is you're doing and writing out the challenges as it relates to that individual. Okay, because again, we're going back and we're acting as kind of an outside consultant. All right. So week 2, you're going to have a couple chapters reading. You're going to have your article. You're going to get an article from me. Chapter 3, you're going to have a reading. You're going to turn in your article. You're going to look at the article I give. Week 4 is your midterm exam. Okay, and I'll talk more about midterm exam as we get close. If you really want to go in and take a look at it, you can go in and click, and it'll pull up basically a paragraph. Okay, it'll talk about it briefly, as will I in the weekly assignment section. You're not going to get a chance to see the questions up front. Suffice it to say that you get 1 shot at the quiz. Make sure you take it in a place or time that you're not going to be interrupted. You're going to have plenty of time. These are open notes, open book, but not open neighbor. In other words, you can use all the resources you want, except collaboration with other students in taking the quiz. I haven't fully written the quiz or the midterm and the final yet, but typically I balance them between true, false, and best answer. All right. Week 5, you're back to reading your article in and an article from me. And week 6, same thing. Week 7, that rounds out about your reading out of the guide or handbook. Article in and article from me. Okay. Week 8, you have your final. I've already talked about that. And you're going to have a case study paper due. Okay. Case study paper is due the last week. It is 30% of your grade. This is a discussion of leadership issues that are occurring in an organization. You're going to pick what that organization or company is. You're going to inform me what you'd like to write on no later than Saturday, 2 November. So towards the end of the second week, I'd like to know what company or organization you want to do the study on. It could be anybody. It could be McDonald's, can be any company you read about in Wall Street Journal, can be a company you work for presently, can be a company you're interested in working for. It can be your church. It can be almost any organization. As you can see on here, there's some things that I want to know. An intro to the study, description of the case, and some of the issues. Okay? And then importance of various elements for this organization. Culture, structures, leadership styles, and ethical climate. Sounds like leadership challenges, doesn't it? And then analysis of those issues and what the leader, the CEO, president, the protagonist is doing. And then explain the importance of these concepts. And then conclusions, recommendations. In other words, it's not enough to say, hey, he's doing great, he should keep doing what he's doing. That's not much, okay? There should be an action plan. You're going to learn more about that in the handbook. But we're going to get beyond the he should keep doing what he's doing. He needs to communicate better. We're going to dive into it like we have already had LDR 300. Okay. Zoom session is going to wind up here in about 3 minutes or so. I only get about 40 minutes off of these sessions until I get University of Mount Olive to give me a paid subscription. I hope this helps. Again, all this information is already available to you. You already have it. This slide has not, but again, I can post that. In fact, probably what I'll do is somewhere here on probably just above the Zoom sessions where you'll find the shared videos, which is where I'll post this when it's done and all the weeks. I'll probably hang a file out here and insert the slides that I use in my normal seated class. Those slides will be predominantly the LDR 300 slides, okay? The reason for that is the information in this course text is very basic. When I say course text, again, I'm talking about this. It really doesn't lend itself to slides because, quite frankly, you're going to find it's very easy reading, and just a matter of you getting into it is really the best way to learn. A slide isn't going to give you enough information to fully understand it, I think. Okay. Again, nobody tried to join. Again, that's fine. This is something that I do as an option because Dean wishes it. And I am presently seated in classroom at the Jacksonville, North Carolina campus. If you're local and you want to sit in this classroom as I'm doing a Zoom session, you're perfectly welcome. Happy to do it. Happy to have you, I should say. I am going to ask that you let me know so I can at least expect you. If you are going to dial in, you've got all the information to do that. Just click on this link and join the session. You can usually do that also from your phone. There's nothing really that's going to require you to interact that can't be done off of the phone. And excuse me. And we can also, as I said, I'll post these to YouTube. So what will happen is you can come in to the shared video files. You'll click on that. You'll see the week. Click on that. You'll see a brief synopsis, and then you'll see the link. And then it'll take you to the YouTube page, okay? And you'll see it, okay? And this is previous class I've just wrapped up, LDR 360. Some of you have been in that class. It's good to have you. Here is some of the Zoom sessions from a previous class. So feel free to go and look at those if you want. Just understand those are a couple months old. And have at it. All right. So I think that's just about going to be most of our time. I'm going back to our slides. You're going to find, yeah, I think I'm about ready to lose you here. So let's see how much time we've got. Yeah, I think we're just about out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'll save this slide for next week. The slide I was going to show you is an organizational success personal slide that I like to use, and all of that is easily explained. Okay. Well, listen, thanks again. It's 5:42, and so I'm going to let time kind of run out here for about another 3 minutes. And again, if there's any questions, go back to what I've sent you on the assignment instructions and have on Moodle. Should be in there. If it's not, yeah, certainly let me know. You can certainly give me a call if you want. Text me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I might be a little grouchy, but you'll probably pick up. Please understand, I work during the normal week. I'm an adjunct instructor. I have a full-time job doing something other than instructing. So sometimes my time is not my own. And for those of you that have had me before, you read about that in Who's Got the Monkey article. And for those that I haven't worked with, I think you'll find me pretty upfront. What you see is what you get. Hey, my job is to get you through it. You're going to do the work. But my job is to get you through it. The only way you fail one of my courses is by not turning in the work. That's the only way you can fail. Really. I mean, yeah, if you're really that off the mark and just turning garbage, yeah, that's that's a different case. But this is basic stuff, and but it's good, and it's really helpful, and you're going to find it energizing. Okay, and with that, I think the only other thing I'll leave you with is I'm going to share with you from time to time some information that isn't quite in the text and that I think is of interest. So, for example, fallacies of argumentation. Okay, in this particular class, part of what you're being graded upon is your effectiveness in communication. And so, in this regard, understanding rhetoric, understanding logic, understanding using certain ways to frame your argument may or may not be effective depending on what those ways you're using. So we just kind of want to watch what we're doing. And again, I wish you all the best, and we'll keep it going. Okay, take good care.